High in the mist-wrapped mountains of northern Spain lies a village so small it barely leaves a mark on the map. Yet centuries ago, it was a place feared across kingdoms. Zugarramurdi, a village of stone and shadow and secrets. Here in these quiet hills, men and women danced with the unseen. They whispered to the wind, they sang to the fire, they touched powers no one else dared speak of. Life in Zugarramurdi seemed simple, almost timeless. Farmers tended their flocks. Children played in the sunlight. The elders spoke in soft Basque, their words carrying centuries of wisdom. Yet beneath the surface of this peaceful village, something older stirred. A way of life older than the church, older than the crown. A way of life the outside world would call witchcraft. Hidden in these mountains lay the caves, vast, labyrinthine, and cold. Here villagers met in secret. They danced, sang, and prayed to forces the church labeled the devil. But they knew her by another name, Mari, goddess of storms and earth, whose power shaped both land and life. Whispers began traveling down the mountain paths, strange happenings, children falling ill, animals dead under unnatural circumstances. Inquisitors in Logroño took notice. A shadow was forming over Zugarramurdi, carrying fear, suspicion, and the cold touch of the law. The Inquisition arrived under the banner of righteousness, but with suspicion in their eyes. They asked questions. They searched homes. And when fear meets authority, even the innocent can confess to shadows they have never summoned. No one is safe when rumor becomes law. Friends accuse friends, neighbors accuse neighbors. Confessions were extracted not from guilt, but from fear. Lives, once simple, became full of suspicion. To the villagers, the caves were sacred, alive with Mari's presence. To the inquisitors, they were lairs of the devil. And with this perception, tragedy grew. Over 300 villagers were accused. Many were imprisoned. 12 would be executed, tortured, coerced, terrified. Yet most knew only the truth of their traditions, not the devil. And still, they burned. The fires took more than bodies. They consumed families, trust, and centuries of tradition. Yet even as the flames rose, the spirit of the mountains endured. The stories would not die, for fear cannot silence memory. Zugarramurdi fell silent. But silence is not forgetfulness. The caves still echo with whispers of the past. Mari's presence, misunderstood by the world, lives on in memory, in legend, in the soil and stone of these mountains. Today, the village remembers not only the tragedy, but the resilience of its people. The caves are no longer feared, but revered. The Festival of the Witches celebrates life, history, and the power of stories to endure. For in the end, the mountains never forgot, and neither should we. The story of the witches of Zugarramurdi is not just a tale of fear. It is a reminder that history is written by those who hold power, and that even in darkness, tradition, courage, and memory survive. If you were captivated by this journey into the mountains, into history, into the shadows of human fear and resilience, subscribe and join us as we uncover more stories that history almost forgot. Every village, every cave, every whispered legend has a story waiting to be told, and we are here to tell it.